Hello my fellow Retromaniacs and welcome back to Let's Read Electronic Gaming Monthly, issue number 54 from January 1994. So more cheats, Rocky Road and Super NES. I haven't heard of this game. Yeah, there's so many games on Super NES or Genesis I have never even heard of. So Emperor Strikes Back, Passwords, First Samurai, Mortal Kombat. Yeah, they're really like I don't know. I don't want to say wasting pages, but they have lots of pages for the cheat codes. You know, some magazines have also these cheat codes, but it's usually like no pictures and anything. So it's usually just text, and they're cramped in one page or 2 pages maximum. But here there's like I don't know, 10-20 pages of cheats. General Chaos. For Genesis. Rock and Roll Racing. Hold L and R select. I think that's the same cheat code you get in Mario Kart, in those tiny, when you can race as tiny racer. Dragon's Lair for which console? Sega CD. Well, it's probably one of the worst medium for full motion video. Sega CD video quality is just horrible. So you'd rather play either the Laserdisc version or I don't know. I don't know if this was actually released on DVD. Like you could use DVD controller, remote control for the choices. I don't know. I think it should have been possible because it was a very simple game, and you know, I DVDs used to have like some mini games, especially like Disney animated films had usually like some simple games made for DVD, remote action. So yeah, I have to admit that I have never seen the full Dragon's Lair animation. It's probably now like in HD 4K resolution remastered, so I should really maybe do a reaction video. I don't know how much like this animation compared to the game. I mean, if you play the game, you get all the game over animations, but if you just watch the show, there's no like, I don't know if this was really released as a separate animated short, or is it only available on game form? I saw that like the animated cartoon, but that was totally different, and it didn't have that lush animation as the game had. More cheat codes. Okay, European Racers. Take a drive off the deep end with Road Adventure. Look at that. It's like grabbing your car through the windshield. And no, not even getting like a scratch on his knuckles. I think that would hurt a bit when you smash a windshield with your knuckles. Sega CD, wait a second, this is like a full motion video. Full CD soundtrack, digitally recorded stereo sound. Over 30 minutes of full motion animation. But is there any gameplay? Yeah. I should check more of these Sega CD games to see if they are just as bad as I think they are. Ranger X for Genesis. This looks familiar. I think this was mentioned in one of those YouTube videos where they explain the graphical tricks in video games. I don't remember the channel name, but I like those YouTube channels that cover the secrets of video game art or programming. Yours is Safari. Yeah, I played this. Oh, new quest. If you beat Yours is Safari, you find out the code for new quest. Background has changed from blue to purple. Now the princess will tell you another quest. Morris' work is never done. Oh, interesting. Because I think I bet the game. I beat the game and that it was quite short. Or would there be like a secret quest? I don't know. Maybe it's just the same, but a little bit harder. It's like expert mode. Chalk up, dude. Championship pool for Super NES. Okay. You haven't really played any pool games. I think there was one like in television I played. F1 pole position by Ubisoft. This is the Ubisoft old logo. So it's quite simplistic. Yeah, I wonder when they changed it to its current one. Maybe I think in Rayman it was already like the one you recognized that like armadillo. Whatever creature they have in the logo. Actually gonna check Ubisoft logo. Oh no, it's not the armadillo. It's just it's like the circle, spiral. Ubisoft updated their logo in October 1994 for first gameplay Rainbow Arch. What's the Armadillo game company? Oh, it's Infogrames. Okay. Yeah. Infogrames. More Formula 1. They're really pushing these Formula 1 games. Even though this is a United States based magazine where Americans really don't care about Formula 1, although this was still the era when there was a United States Grand Prix, so when it was dropped, like in 1993, 1992 forwards until Indianapolis returning in 2000. I think there was quite a slump in the interest in the United States. What we have? Game previews. Enix Gaia Fantasy for Super NES. Wait a second. What is this? This looks familiar. Oh, it's Illusion of Gaia. Yeah. They hadn't like gotten the final name yet, so, because it's just preview. It's like work title, Gaia Fantasy, Illusion of Gaia. I think I streamed this. Yeah, this feels a little bit familiar. I streamed maybe a little bit. Yeah, the jail section. Yeah, didn't get too far though. Surprisingly, Enix is going to be releasing their action RPG Gaia Fantasy in the States, but not in Europe as usual. What we have news? Kung Fu Superman. The death of Superman. Okay. Superboy. Astro Boy. Johnny Rock. 3DO. Oh my god. I wonder if plumbers wear ties. Plumbers would not wear ties was ever mentioned in one of these gaming magazines. Because, you know, it's really not a game, it's just like softcore graphical novel, or I don't know, how do you describe plumbers that wear ties? Is it a game or is it just a like art project? It's not porn either, because there's barely any nudity. So I don't know what it tried to be. I don't know. So yeah, don't expect seeing that being reviewed in gaming magazines. What the hell is this? Rocky Rodent. Okay. Yeah, so many mascots again. What was that another mascot I saw earlier? I already forgot. It was like that, yeah, Sonic type of yeah, Socket the duck. Yeah, they just oversaturated the market with these average generic 2D platformer mascot games. You know, everyone tried to capitalize the success of Sonic and Mario, but failed. Oh, Night Trap. It's considered one of the best Sega CD games. The most controversial games around the world. I don't know what was the controversial part. Maybe because they were like girls. And it was kind of like maybe creepy. I haven't played the game, but I guess I don't think there was any kind of like nudity or anything in that, so it wasn't like inappropriate or pervert. Maybe a little bit pervert, but if there's no nudity, it's not bad, you know. You know, even today video games like Last of Us or anything, they had even full sex scenes. So what gives? I think in I think it was because just in 1990s everyone thought that video games were for kids only, for children. So if anything adult themed or more mature was included in a video game, it was a controversial thing. So that's why probably many like Japanese games that had some nudity, or they were not released outside of Japan because importers thought that okay, we cannot release this because then parents will accidentally buy this for their kids and there's gonna be a huge controversy. So yeah, it was just the time before, you know, games were considered suitable for adults as well, or some games were not suitable for kids. Like Mortal Kombat was one that really like pushed the like age limit for video games, and Doom followed that. So and then it became more like accepted that some games are made for adults only, and then we had like FPS games and R-rated games as well. So, but this was the early days of video games when everyone had the preconception of video games being all kids' toys that couldn't have anything sexual or violent nature in them. Yep. Super Star Wars for Super Nintendo Entertainment. So wait a second. So Super Empire Strikes Back was already out, but then they are showing advertised for Super Star Wars. What was the? Were they released in the wrong order, or what were the release days for Super Star Wars? The Super Star Wars was released in 1992. So why are they like showing ads for like a game that is already a year old? Maybe they thought that okay, we can Super Empire Strikes Back is out, so we can probably sell the Super Star Wars as well, and then Super Star Wars Return of the Jedi was released in 1994. That completed the trilogy. So I guess people wanted to collect all those 3 games, so it was still possible to sell those old games or have adverts for them. PGA 3DO. I played some golf game on 3DO. Unbelievable graphics and animation. Yeah, it's just full motion video in blue screen. This doesn't look at all that he's outside and not in a studio. Rocko's Modern Life. I've never seen the show. Nickelodeon. You know, obviously I didn't have cable TV, so I missed most of the Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network shows. Only those that were shown in Finnish TV, like Cow and Chicken and Ren and Stimpy. I knew, but like Johnny Quest and some other shows I just missed because I didn't have a cable TV. Brutal for Sega CD. Okay, this looks like a very lousy game. It's like MS Paint style. It's like this looks like a shareware game you would see on MS-DOS. Looks really good. I don't think so. Do you think these waterfalls are great? This looks... And you know, the top bar of the info is so simplistic. This looks like a fan game more than a real game. Okay, now they're advertising for Super Empire Strikes Back. Will you accept the challenge of a Jedi Knight? Yeah, I should continue my Super Star Wars gameplay because I haven't really played those, but the games are very hard. Even with like save states and rewind, it takes so long to beat some of those levels, and the boss fights are just unbelievably long. But I think they are the better Star Wars games. There are so many Star Wars games and some of them are not too good. But Super Star Wars Saga is very good. Micro Machines for what? Oh, there's multiple versions. Genesis, Game Gear, PC, Amiga, NES. I think Amiga is probably the best version. Maybe with PC, I don't know. Probably Amiga was still a little bit better in the early 90s. Psycho Pinball. Cosmic Space Head, what the hell is that? Amiga, PC, Game Gear, Genesis, NES game. Never heard of that game. Trifu Smart Arc. Huh? Dino Basher. Oh, Fantastic Dizzy. The Codemaster. RIP Codemasters. EA, what have you done? You ruined the legacy of a great video game studio. Mighty Max. Addams Family Values. Oh, okay, so there was a film based on the Addams Family movies. I don't know if the first movie got any licensed game, but the sequel got a licensed game. It doesn't look too interesting though. Yeah, the problem was usually that they didn't really have an idea for the game, and they just somehow need to get some kind of a platformer. Usually it was a platformer, maybe a puzzle game as well. But yeah, it was usually just get the game done, release it when the movie is still relevant. So not too much effort was put into those licensed games, unless it was a Disney game like Aladdin. Mighty Max for Ocean. I don't know this game. Yeah, when you read these old magazines, there's just you realize that there are so many games that were released back in the early 90s. I think I don't know what was the top year for new video game releases, but I guess it was somewhere around early 90s, because that was the time when the development costs were still quite low, because you didn't need a big team or big budget for a video game. But there were many different consoles, so there were a lot of video games: Game Gear, Super NES, NES, Genesis, PC, Amiga, 3DO, PC Engine, etc., etc. And we are not even counting Japanese consoles like Wonder Swan, Neo Geo. So I think maybe like 1993 or 1992 or 1994 was the top year for new game releases. Then after that, the budgets got bigger and they couldn't publish that many games in a year. And also the competition and the number of new consoles dropped, so then you only had like N64, PlayStation, so I think it really dropped like in 1997, the number of games. And nowadays, I don't know how many AAA games are released in each month. I think the number has dropped significantly. I don't even know how like a gaming magazine could have enough content for a monthly issue if there are only like a few games released per month. Cannot get how do you feel like 50 pages if there's only like a couple of games released in 1 month? Or maybe they have to include some like indie games, but I think it's a little bit unfair to compare indie games, because anyone can release an indie game and homebrew games. But these were like still official console games, so I don't know. I guess you could call some of these like smaller game company games as indie games of the 90s, like Eek the Cat. Could it be considered an indie game? I don't know. What's the definition of an indie game? So whatever. Lost Dimension. The hell is this game? Never heard of. Welcome to the next dimension. Okay. Is it a shmup game or a shooter game or Contra type? Can't really tell. Just weird. Good conception here. Tip of Game Boy. And then we go to the black and white era where they're reviewing Game Boy games. Yeah, but I think this quality is quite good for Game Boy, so I think at least these were not captured just by pointing a camera on the Game Boy screen, so, like some magazines had to do. I think they were actually able to capture the Game Boy footage off from the Game Boy. I don't know, maybe Nintendo had some kind of a like device for big companies that they could hack the Game Boy to get the video signal out of Game Boy. Obviously with Super Game Boy they could hook the Game Boy on a like a proper video output, but Super Game Boy was not out. And it would be like colored. This is just black and white. Sidekicks. Whoa, what is this? This looks like a 3D. It's not overhead. It's like mode 7. Yeah, it's mode 7. Soccer game. Looks very good. Although I think mode 7 was the panning of mode 7 is quite weird. It's like it's very smooth, but it's because the sprites don't rotate with the background. It looks quite weird because it's not full 3D. It's just the mode 7 can rotate individually, and then the sprites usually have only like a few different poses from different angles, so when the camera rotates it takes a while until the sprites get updated, so it always looks a little bit weird with mode 7 pseudo 3D. Okay, we got many, like so many Looney Tunes games released. I think most of them were quite average, but yeah, I had the Daffy Duck, the Marvin Visions. It was a alright game. It had good music. Slippery controls though. Escape from Monster Manor 3DO. What is this? It's like Wolfenstein 3D. Yeah, Wolfenstein 3D was already out. But Doom, was Doom released in 1990? 1990. Wait a second. December 1993. So it should be like just coming out. Maybe this magazine did have it already. Maybe in the next issue it will be reviewed. Super Wing Commander 3DO. Popeye was SNES. Genesis. Didn't even know that Popeye had a game for Super NES. And that's quite weird. Popeye wasn't even like a big thing, or in the 90s it was the William Popeye the movie from 1980. Yeah, when Popeye was like big thing. Robin Williams and by Robert Altman. But you would think that in 1993 nobody is interested in Popeye anymore. I don't know. Maybe there was like some kind of a like TV show made for Popeye. Because there were so many like Saturday morning cartoons, so who knows, maybe there was like new Popeye show made. I would not know. Best of the Best Championship Karate. Extreme Rigbo Boxing for Game Boy. This must be very simplistic game. Super Pinball. Iron Man. What? Okay. I think this is like Amiga port. But on the other hand, I think Amiga was more powerful, so Super NES couldn't do all the calculations for the physics. Jam It by Genesis. Asterix. I think Asterix was never that popular in North America. But you know, we in Europe, we love Asterix and Tintin. Although the games they never got respectable treatment. They usually just sucked. Sketching for Genesis. What the hell is this? Oh, it's like skateboarding. Looks like rollerblade game. I don't know. A strange game. It really looks like. With these kind of like outrun graphics. James Bond 3. Again, Electronic Arts publisher, but who's the developer? Cripple Hulk. Yeah, so many games. Holy shit! How many games there were? Just one issue. Okay. Citadel Super NES. What the hell is this? Looks like Super FX chip game. Yeah. But I have never heard of this. It must be one of those cancelled games. Let's see. Oh, it was named as Vortex. And it was released in 1994. Okay, that's why I had not heard of it, because the name was changed. But yeah, look at these graphics. It's like, to even think that the SNES could pull off that kind of graphics is so jaw-dropping. Scared. What the hell is this? Alfred Scared? Sprain dude. I don't understand. Sonic CD for Sega CD. Okay. Oh, wait a second. Now it's just trick. Have I played Sonic CD? Quite remember. I have not played too many Sonic games, and you know, definitely not. I haven't finished a single game. Yeah, Sonic CD started as a port from Genesis game, but then it was a dedicated game, separated game. So it's not just a port or enhanced version. It's just a new game completely. NBA Jam. Special feature. Exclusive preview. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't care. Okay, Alfred Chicken. That was so. There's like ads that continue in later pages. multi-page adverts. I don't care about basketball. Let's just skip that. Feel the rush of Genesis. Oh my! Imagine like buying one of these and then saving the box. It would be so. You know, I have it like sealed in box. It would be, I don't know how much worth you would have a sealed box in video games. But surely, like many collector would like to have one sealed Sega Genesis in a box. Wow. Software TC. Man, just drool looking through these adverts. I want them all. Luckily, I'm not a game collector. Like I've said, I don't own any physical games. I only have all games on emulation. I'm not a game collector. Mostly because I can't afford buying games, and you know, these days, if you want to start collecting, the prices have increased that you probably have to pay more from a retro Super NES or Genesis game in a box than a new game. So it maybe in like 15 years ago it would have been 20 years ago it would have been a right time to start collecting retro games, but now it's too late unless you have money, and I don't have money, so that's why I only play emulated games. Mario Andretti Racing. Okay, yeah, this looks like too ambitious game again for the era. Like different cars, Indy, stock car, sprint car, but then all the tracks are just identical. With like green grass, asphalt, and some kind of a city in the background. So there's not just variety in the stages, because it's not full 3D. NBA Showdown 94, NHL Hockey 94. Yeah, I had the NHL 98, or was it 97 for Super NES, and it's interesting how they never changed the engine at all. It was always the same through 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98. And even the same sound effects were used, so it was quite a low effort from EA that every year they released a new game, but they barely updated anything in game wise, only the player names. But yeah. Oh, 300 video clips. Digitized cards. Yeah, maybe the Sega CD is actually. It's just authentic arenas with 70 different pieces of CD organ music. I think, yeah, but that was maybe better used for Sega CD. But yeah, the Super NES versions, it didn't really matter what game you would buy, 1995, 95, 6, 7. It was the same game each time. So you get but I think it's the same thing even these days, that if you buy a NHL game or FIFA game, you shouldn't buy another game at least for 10 years before there's been enough changes to to make the new game worth buying. John Madden, yeah, I don't care about John Madden. FIFA International Soccer. Is this for Super NES or Sega? Yeah, page number's 160 out of 300, so yeah, this is gonna take a while. I think maybe like 3 parts still. I have to continue reading this magazine, but now I will stop here. So I'll see you next time. Bye bye.